So where my fans at? Call my label like where my plans at? 2 years off and I still got signed. Haters looking so pale, man, where your tan at? Even though my exes can't be mad at the fact they can find a thing Martian's bad at. Saying that any attention is good, but why the hell my going around on Snapchat? I signed to a label, so I must be rich now. My friends all assume that I get all the chicks.
Since I'm from Chicago, I am a Bulls fan. So the legendary version, I think, the cover was MJ, so I'm pretty excited about that too.
What's your MyPlayer?
I actually made a center because my friend told me that it was like the easiest to kind of do.
So you go the easy route?
Yeah. I'm new to basketball, so you know, I'm just trying to do the easy stuff first.
.2K Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the NBA.
Up next, the Hawks taking on the Bulls. For the Hawks, a standout first half of the season has them in first place in the East, a position they don't want to let go of. Bulls, Hawks on 2K Sports. Hi everyone, we're coming to you live on 2K Sports, bringing you the NBA. Along with Steve Smith and Greg Anthony, this is Kevin Harlan. And our friend on the sideline, Hall of Famer David Aldridge, you'll be hearing from shortly. A moment here now to see the numbers for John Collins.
And guys, I think the best way to measure his performance these last 10 games his game is in much better shape than it was not too long ago.
And with pregame routines coming to an end, we're just about ready for our tip-off. First, though, let's get a report from the sideline and say hello to David Aldridge.
Thank you, Kevin. We do see NBA teams utilizing more zone defenses. Raptors coach Nick Nurse said, offense changed so drastically, now defense is having to adjust. Lakers' Frank Vogel said, when your team is down and looking for
in the NBA for sure, David. Thank you. You know, Steve, above the rim play always is captivating to watch. We should see some of that tonight.
Yes, Kevin. A lot of watch ahead because these guys can fly. I'm glad I'm watching and not trying to slow these guys down.
A look at Atlanta's opening lineup. Young and Bogdanovich, they have the guard duties. Collins is out there with Michael Porter, and it's Gilbert in at the 5. And for Chicago, they've got Doc. Dennis Smith is out there with Scott. And it's Michael Jordan. And it's Westbrook in at the point. And the Bulls start out with the ball. So for the Bulls, Dennis Schroeder's checked in for Dennis Smith. Mr. Clutch comes in for Michael Jordan. And it's Stephen Curry in for Russell Westbrook. Atlanta also making some changes here. Okongwu's checked in for Bogdanovich. And it's Richardson in for Young. And that one drops.
And once he got to the 10, I think he was surprised to find himself that wide open.
Wow, that's a defensive breakdown. Can't do that against good scores.
Now here's Wright. Sweet little float.
That's nice work, stopping short of the rim. Just laying it over the top.
Picked away. And the basket is good.
And even if you risk a foul, the D has to play him tougher when he gets it that deep.
And if you don't, they keep finding the matchup every time up the floor.
Here's Mr. Clutch. 17 points in his last outing. most assists per contest over the previous 10 games. You look at Houdini, an uncommonly gifted passer, leading the league in assists.
You think of some of the great passing big men over the years, and they are some of the best players ever. I mean, period. I'm sure that's not lost on him. He takes advantage of them in every way possible.
And Brady lures them into a trap on the steal, and then bang, straight to the bucket.
Great activity at both ends. Great teamwork as well.
Here's Mr. Clutch. Very solid contribution from him as he averages over 20. And here we go. Coach's challenge is being called for here on the out-of-bounds violation.
And you know these types of plays, especially when you're talking about action around the sideline, this is something you can get a much better perspective of on replay than real game speed.
We've got the benefit of new camera angles, Greg. Much easier to see exactly what's going on, especially with the fidelity and angles that we've got access to now. So we just got word from the NBA Replay Center via the official courtside administrator. And the original call will stand for the out-of-bounds violation.
You know, and some people might argue, hey, we're stopping the game, but this uses up a timeout, so that's technically already a break that could happen, regardless of the call staying the same.
Some coaches might not like taking the three on the fast break, but he had the open look and buried it.
2 points, that one goes. And it's 7 points for Mr. Clutch.
He's hot this quarter, getting the shots he wants, and he's delivering.
And Porter, here we go. That one goes in.
They are just killing them on the interior.
Left side, Scott. The pass to Gilbert. Releases. And the Bulls tack on 2 more.
Talented, driven. He puts constant pressure on your defense.
The shot off that time. And so it's Michael Porter making things happen for Atlanta. Scoring, rebounding. He was all over the place during that quarter. They are riding his performance right now. We'll return shortly. And if you're just tuning in, it's been a pretty even game through the first quarter. And some stats here, guys. The scoring breakdown for Atlanta.
They didn't need any time to warm up from long range today. Their three-point shooting has been terrific in the first half.
Yeah, they're showing some muscle also in the first half as well, and getting a lot of their points in the paint. Really like the balance they've shown.
And the Hawks with possession here. They come in fresh off a win against the Warriors.
Yeah, proficiency from range, away from home, much easier said than done. They played a terrific ball game.
Yeah, and you could see the crowd's reaction with every make. It wasn't pretty.
This is how the floor looks for the Hawks starting the second quarter. They've got Richardson. Okongwu is out there with Vucevic. And it's Porter. And it's right at the two-guard spot.
Keeping his head up at all times. Curry sees his teammate break free.
Pass to Okongwu. There's the drive. Got a hand on it. Fast break. Here comes Chicago. Here's Gilbert. It's Chicago with another bucket. And what's your take, guys, on the hustle stats for Chicago?
They're doing a great job defensively down low. They've already racked up a lot of blocks. They've established an intimidation factor early in this one.
And also, they've been really active on the defensive end in terms of applying pressure and coming away with
A blur in the open court. Shooter covers ground in a hurry.
Awesome display of athleticism captured by our AT&T 5G Slam Cam. Poked away, and so it looks like the Hawks will retain possession here. A moment now to check out who's leading in the All-Star voting.
and a lot of fans and players interested to see how this thing all turns out.
Look at Houdini. He's out in front in the East, a superstar talent, certainly worthy of accolades.
And getting the kind of attention you'd expect for a player having the kind of season he's having.
And it's going to be an exciting showcase. We'll keep you updated with the results each day during the voting. And we have an intentional foul there, GA. Wish I could say why.
That one's pretty strange. I mean, no idea what got into his head right there.
Michael Jordan, he's checked in for Chicago. Russell Westbrook comes in for Curry. Then for the Hawks, John Collins, he's checked in for Okongwu. Bogdan Bogdanovic comes in for DeLon Wright. And Trae Young subbed in for Richardson.
They've settled into a nice groove offensively here in the second.
It's tipped. Pass to Bogdanovic. Shot to stop the run. That's in, coming off the assist from Young. Young's got 5 assists in the game. In his first game after starting in the 2020 All-Star Game, Trae Young had an incredible night, dropping 50 points against the Miami Heat.
And Young became the 4th youngest NBA player to get to 50. Only Devin Booker, LeBron, and Brandon Jennings got to 50 in a game at a younger age. Perhaps the most impressive part of Trae's performance, he did it against Coach Eric Spoelstra's Miami Heat, one of the top defensive teams in the league, and started hot, and he's only gotten hotter.
Here's Mr. Clutch. He's covered by Bogdanovic. Bucket is good. Mr. Clutch has got 25 points.
Yeah, just continue sloppiness with the basketball. They are shooting themselves in the foot.
Atlanta calls timeout. And a lot of players want a voice in team strategy. I've always wondered, Greg, is there a downside for coaches letting their players get too involved?
I mean, there is a belief that you can have too many cooks in the kitchen, right? But if a player knows his stuff, it's worth at least hearing them out, if only to keep those open lines of communication.
Houdini's checked in for Vucevic. Nabbing another steal.
He's making history, tied for 3rd most steals in a single game.
Incredible tenacity. He continues to hound the ball.
And folks, he did not luck into that one. He knew just where he wanted to be to grab that backboard.
And here we go again. The Bulls in transition. Up the court they go. And they'll get another chance.
Yeah, and they're starting to warm up from the field this quarter.
The Hawks trail by 19. Passes it to Gilbert. To the paint. Here's Collins. And he benched in the layup. Collins has got his first 2 points of the night.
Attacking the teeth of that defense. This is where Collins makes his living.
From 12 feet out, he hits the back iron and sinks the shot. And the Bulls lead by 19. And another steal for him.
He's been a defensive terror all night long.
I've never seen
why not? If something's working, keep going to it.
Young outside. Hawks working the ball around. Collins finds Young. Just he swipes the ball away again.
He's showing his way into the record book.
A new single-game high. G8 for steals.
And he has snapped a long-standing mark held by Kendall Gill and Larry Keane. It's unbelievable to see that record broken.
Hawks have gone 2 of 4 shooting the ball here in the second. Outside Bogdanovich. To the middle. Here's Gilbert. The shot drops. His shooting percentage improves. He's 3 for 7 now with that basket.
And despite the hot stuff from beyond, they've gotten away from shooting the triple. And the stop and play, guys, giving the home crowd a chance to just cheer on his incredible play.
And Greg, he's earned it. You don't get all those steals without expending a huge amount of energy.
He's as disruptive as you can be on the defensive end. His anticipation and effort tonight is off the charts.
Changes for Chicago. Dennis Smith. And so it's Chicago taking a 19-point lead into the break. They've got a big advantage in the turnover stats because of their intense defense. And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Thanks, Kevin. Steph, you guys put your foot on the gas in the second quarter. What was the difference?
Push the tempo. We got a lot of stops early. Long guns was able to get out in transition. Being on the floor for some easy baskets, and we just executed kind of flawlessly that quarter.
You look great, Steph. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks so much, David. And we'll step away briefly, but get you right back out here for the start of the third quarter after this break.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hey, welcome back to 2K Sports. Ernie Johnson alongside Shaquille O'Neal and the Jet, Kenny Smith. Let's get to it. It was a closely contested first quarter for Chicago. And having been behind by as many as 8, they clawed their way back. They just exploded in the second quarter, grabbing the momentum and running with it. Basket after basket, and they played stingy defense. Now they've got a halftime lead that's going to be very difficult to erase. Kenny, what did you think about what you saw from Chicago?
Watching that half, they did a great job in transition. It's so hard to score in a half court when you let the defense set up. So anytime you get the chance, go. Go. Kind of reminds me of me. That's why they call me the Jet. Jack. Get down the court fast as you can. Come on, man.
And over to the big fella. Your thoughts on the Hawks?
They've been struggling to get shots in general, but down low, they've been paper soft. Hate to say it. Giving up way too many easy looks. If they can't protect the rim more effectively in the second half, it's going to be a long ride home.
And that'll do it for our halftime report. Stay tuned for the second half. About to get underway.
And with a big gap on the scoreboard, the second half begins with very different goals for these teams. One side trying to mount a comeback, one side trying to protect their lead. What can you say, Mr. Clutch? An impressive effort here today.
Well, with a double-double in hand through 2 quarters, you can just imagine what his stat line will look like at the end of this one.
They're asking a lot of him, shouldering the load in a number of areas. You just hope he has enough left at the end.
And with the second half, Dennis Schroeder's checked in for Chicago. Mr. Clutch comes in for Doc. Vucevic checked in for Atlanta. Okongwu comes in for John Collins. Gilbert hangs in midair and converts on the double clutch layup. Mr. Clutch has got 36. So with Thompson sitting on the bench, here's the group that Billy Donovan has on the floor. Jordan is out there with Dennis Schroeder. Then there's Russell Westbrook. Then it's Dennis Smith. And it's Gilbert in at the shooting guard position.
Boy, you have to be impressed with the offensive production. They have got it firing on all cylinders.
It's been tremendous job of play calling and execution. They just continue to increase this lead.
And they're bringing you up close and personal on the AT&T 5G Slam Cam.
Chicago foul. That's his first personal foul. First team foul.
Bulls on D. It's an 18-point game, and he commits the intentional foul.
Yeah, not sure what that was about. I mean, talk about a brain cramp.
Chicago making some changes. Doc comes in for Smith, and it's Scott in for Jordan. And now another look at that mobile one-block defensive performance.
Yeah, sharp instincts on D there. Just timing when to rise up and swat that one away.
Bogdanovich against Schroeder, and the shot goes in. Bogdanovich has got 8 points.
Man, he keeps doing his part. They just haven't been able to get over the hump.
Here's Gilbert over Young, and it's Chicago scoring again.
Throughout the evening, he's gotten to his spots, and the defense has not adjusted.
Nabbing another steal.
And you got to be careful around him.
You know, Greg, he's been coming up with some incredible steals so far. From deep. He can't get that one, so the Hawks will take it the other way.
And so much for repeating the three-point barrage he put on in the first half. Nothing here in the second.
Here's Houdini. He's guarded by Schroeder. And as it goes out of bounds, Atlanta able to keep the ball here. Some changes for Chicago. Primetime's checked in for Dennis Schroeder. And Curry subbed in for Russell Westbrook. Richardson, he's checked in for Atlanta. Okongwu, the pass to Bogdanovich. 5 on the clock. Ball's knocked loose.
2 minutes remaining in the third. 2 minutes.
And it's thrown down hard with both hands.
He takes advantage of them in every way possible.
And Greg, he lures them into a trap on the steal, and then bang, straight to the bucket.
Great activity at both ends. Great teamwork as well.
Left side, Scott. The shot from the low post is good. Scott's got his second basket. And an important part of every team's game, a look at the hustle stats for the Bulls.
They've been playing such pesky defense. It's been very impressive, especially all the turnovers they've caused.
Yeah, and also the way they've been able to generate points off of the turnovers that they forced tonight has also helped.
Now the pass to Bogdanovich, and the Hawks can't hang on to the ball.
Misread each other on the pass, tried to recover, but
Chicago also making some changes. Dennis Smith, he's checked in for Doc. Mr. Clutch comes in for Scott, and Russell Westbrook subbed in for Curry. Steve, you played 4 years at Michigan State with all the changes, including pro options for the top prospects. Do you worry at all about the college game?
No, I don't worry about it. In some ways, having more players who stick around is a good thing, but I love the opportunity these young guys are getting. Continuity can lead to beautiful basketball. They just have to make adjustments.
So with Vucevic on the bench, here's his on the floor for Nate McMillan. They've got Houdini. Richardson is out there with Trae Young. Then it's Collins, and it's Okongwu in at the 5 down low. Basket good.
These are big buckets. He's been instrumental in helping them try to close out this game.
Offensive rebound. Primetime, the pass to Gilbert. Second shot opportunity, and he lays it up and in. Mr. Clutch has got 53.
Ooh, heat check after heat check. He rises to the occasion, trying to will his team to victory.
Three-pointer, and he's good on the 3-ball. Mr. Clutch has got a pair of threes here in the fourth quarter for Chicago. Now, here is Young. Not a lot of room. Another steal. He had a nice open look right there. 58 points for Mr. Clutch.
Well, this is what you're trying to do. Put the game away.
And he's doing it by getting to his spots and making big shots.
Okongwu kicks to Collins, and so they choose to intentionally foul. The dynamic, Greg, between players and officials is always interesting. There's some players saying they think there's a lot of room for improvement. What do you think?
Well, we do see players getting teed up for simply making their case, and really the guys just want to play. So, yeah, you love to see a little bit more harmony out on the floor, and maybe we need to get those two groups together in the offseason to break bread and try to smooth over that relationship.
With the ball in his hands, Ja draws so much defensive attention, got his teammate a clean look.
So for the Hawks. Baylor, he's checked in for Okongwu, and it's Bogdanovich in for Richardson. Chicago. Calls timeout.
And one thing about Ja Morant that can get lost in all the highlights, he is truly a gifted playmaker. Great vision, and he manipulates defenses to create openings for his teammates.
Let's not forget, he led the nation in assists his sophomore season at Murray State. His court sense and feel for the game are advanced, especially for a player his age.
And what started it all, terrific anticipation